Hi,
Hi,
everyone.
folks. We're just saying Happy New Year's and connecting back in. I was telling Russell I feel nervous. I feel nervous to come and do a live because I'm so out of practice. Just a little break and a change of scene and environment, and then you're like, wait, I've got a job to do today. 2nd of January, we're
Yeah.
back. So we're glad that you're all here. Welcome.
Yes, welcome. I we got our timing a bit wrong, so I'm out walking my dog.
Which is lovely anyway,
Uh,
isn't it?
you
There he is.
see.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the big things of like January joy and this whole kind of thing that we're it's like I see more and more people. Now people are like doing boredom challenges on TikTok, and like there's all these people that are trying to like get away from doing this optimization that we've been kind of shoved down our throats for the last 20 years.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So like more of life in, I don't even want to say the slow lane, the more conscious lane. So like it could be slow and it could be quick. If you feel like having a quick day, you have a quick day. If you feel like getting things done like more measured and slowly, you can. Is that sort of, it's more permission slips, I think, right?
Yeah, so there's a great book called Life in Three Dimensions.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone has read that one. If they have, like sound off in the comments, but I love it. It talks about in order to have a rich life, there are three dimensions. And we've all probably heard about meaning and happiness, right? But what this researcher found and their team found was there's a third dimension, which is psychological richness.
Mm.
And so these are things that are hard and but still very rewarding. So it may be like reading all of War and Peace. You may not like reading all of War and Peace, but it could give you a psychological richness that like still moves you forward. And so when I think about like joy and like what I want out of 2026, it's I want to be focused on things that can fulfill at least one of those three dimensions. But
Yeah.
I also want to be very conscious that I don't just do things that are make me happy or bring me joy at the expense of like doing something easy instead of trying something that could actually move my business forward that's a little bit harder, which I think is where that third dimension comes in.
Yes. Yeah, a bit of a challenge. I feel that way, like with certain things that I really want to get my teeth stuck into this year, and I'm being gentle about when, but I definitely feel there are some things that are challenging. But the more I've sat with it, the more it's been about really rising up around what is the block here,
Hmm.
because so like ads, for example. So I've never done any ads. Well, I did one ad for £20 and then I turned it off because I got 60 clicks and no signups. And it just like I just bolted from the whole experience because I was like, it just feels too exposing. Like I really like it when people get to know me naturally, which sounds a weird thing about being online, but people do. Someone recommends your work over here, they might see you on a live, they might read a couple of your posts. It just feels quite natural. And there's something about putting my work in front of people the way that you do with an ad that I can't quite get comfortable with. And I really want to do it this year, like really, really, really want to do it. So I'm trying to just be gentle and sit with like, okay, like there can be all the formulas, there can be all the people telling me it's working, but I'm still not pressing the buttons. So what do I need to do in order to feel comfortable and joyful in like yeah, I could waste some money on ads, but also I could find some really good fit people for my work and for my community because community means so much to me. So to be able to bring new people in for the communities I have feels like a really special thing. So I think leading from that, I might get somewhere. But yeah, that is a bit of a block for me. But one that I can turn around to be joyful, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, I have a great way through this block because it's
Oh.
something that a lot of people find. When you do your ads, do you focus on conversion ads, traffic ads, or just kind of like brand awareness ads?
So the one that I did was around free sign up for a class that I've got coming up in January, which is around content planning. So it's called Audience Alchemy. And this is like my new brand, which is around about like making the magic within the audience that are already waiting to find you. So that's what it's really about. So it was a still, so not a video, just a still that sort of introduced the concept, introduced the brand, and said, hey, here's a free class. And I guess the fact that 60 people clicked it, or Facebook said 60 people clicked it, but nobody put their email in, I was like, okay, so the page doesn't work. But people are like, oh no, you might need more like 100, 200, 300 clicks from that ad before you start getting the people that sign up. So it's just like a brand new concept.
Yeah, so that way of running ads sucks. So this is
Glad I found this out now. Welcome
especially
to
for like
Teaching Sessions with Russell and Claire. Thanks, Russell.
well, especially if you are a florist, which you are, and an evangelist, which you probably are, in our scale path model. The thing that I recommend you do is instead of doing a conversion or a lead gen or any other ad, just do an ad for impressions and or reach, and then take your most engaging videos and just make a little happy uh, ad set with those videos and just let them run for $5 a day.
Okay.
While you're doing that, it's part two. While you're doing that, make sure that you are in Facebook's ad settings. You can build a custom audience, and you can make an audience and have it track people who are watching 25, 50, 75, and 90% of your videos. So that's
cool.
part two. When somebody then watches that much of your video, you want to retarget them with a more salesy video. So these are people who may watch 50% or 90%. So they're already bought in on your thing. Make sure the videos are around kind of the concept that you want. But this is this trick to ads that most people, almost nobody do, even I don't do it, which is the way to I think about ads is I don't want to be on social media. So what is the penalty for me? It might be $5 a day, it might be $10 a day. So like I am investing my money in social media to do brand awareness stuff, just to be there, just to get some amount of reach on the things. And we already know what is converting and what is the most engaged because you have metrics inside Substack.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And my Instagram does really well. Like I've been getting, I don't know, like organically, maybe like 100, 120 new followers, like loads of chats in the DMs. Like it feels really good over there. So I'm like, yeah, I just need to take that to the next level. Okay, I'm going to write some of that down after this call. But I also, while everybody is just gathering, I just wanted to say that Russell and I are delighted that you're here. We are hosting a month-long program of activity. It's all free until we get to the final masterclass, which is a paid masterclass. So it's not like we are trying to prime you to do the paid masterclass. Like, do the paid masterclass if you want to do it. Like, we genuinely wanted to do something else together. And we met on a call, I think maybe a couple of months ago, and we were like just chewing it all around, and it went over here and over there and came back to center. And this is what we ended up with. So we wanted to do a month-long program in January because it was a good time for us both. But also Russell had been doing some challenges. I think I did 5 challenges last year. So I set up a separate Substack. And I ran joyful growth challenges on that Substack. So one of them was around joyful growth. One of them was around visibility. One of them was around sales. One of them was around growth to bestseller. So all of the ways to get to the bestseller check mark, if that's what you're here to do. And it felt really good to have those time sensitive moments in the calendar year where everybody could just gather around. The thing that was most joyful around the challenges, and there were some downsides to it as well, was like everybody networking and everybody meeting each other and bouncing off each other and helping each other out. So when I was describing this to Russell and saying like it was so nice that people got to meet each other and got to know each other, and they had this kind of common thread of gathering around joyful growth, essentially, like really questioning like what does it mean to grow joyfully and with ease, if there can be some ease in it all. So this is our month-long shared publication called Joyful Growth Club. So it exists in the world on Substack, and it is primarily a Substack thing. There'll be daily posts, and then Russell and I are going to host separate challenges. And then we've got a bunch of lives with people who care about this concept of joyful growth. And it's the joyful, sustainable growth that I'm most interested in for you guys as well. So if you're brand new to Substack, you might be swept up in the whole, like, this is an amazing place. And it is. But also, it's a place that can burn you out. It's a place where you might not feel good enough. Like, there are all of these other things that come up. So the sustainability line for me is so important, having been here since, well, April 22 is when I arrived. 2022 is when I arrived on the platform. So I really want to dig into some of the sustainability as we head towards what will be my, is it fourth year? Yeah, fourth year. And also the spirit of collaboration. I love working with Russell. I think it's really cool that we can do this in 2 different time zones and hold people in different containers throughout the month, but it'll all be hosted on the Joyful Growth Club Substack. So yeah, that's what it's all about. Just thought I'd do that while you're getting settled, Russell. Little overview
Oh
there.
yeah. Yes, there's a little bit of the fact that we're across an ocean and daylight savings time, and I'm in Pacific time, not like it was like a hour like. So sorry, I was walking my dog, which is something that brings me a lot of joy in the day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
um, you know, I think about also that we have been taught that joy is one thing, that success is one thing or one way of doing stuff. So I think part of what I want to get across in this challenge, and my challenge is called frictionless growth, and it's based on our author ecosystems, kind of an evolution of it um, with more modalities. But it's this idea that like we are built differently and we grow differently. And so um, you might operate in a way that's like going really deep on a topic, but like you may grow by like having your fans go out and find new people for you and like evangelizing for you. And so the core of this concept is something I've kind of been talking about for years called return on energy investment. It's very much like return on money investment, but instead of making money back, you make energy returns. So, like, no matter what we're doing, we are expending some kind of energy or symbolic representation of energy. So, when you think about money, like money is a representative of somebody's labor of that's how it used to be beads or something like you're saying I will like my this is worth this much of my time and my time is worth dear. I put it in this bead, I put it in this coin, I put it in this dollar, whatever it is. So it's a representation, is a container for energy. And then we take that energy and we exchange it for other people's energy. You're saying, oh, um, you have this dog thing, like it took you $5 worth of time. I'm going to give you that amount of time of exchange for that. So like we are doing this a million times a day. And also we are doing it in a way that the energy return doesn't come back the same. So like we're exchanging money for somebody's time. We're exchanging our time for somebody's money. This is an exchange that's equal. Like we're exchanging attention for attention right now.
Hmm.
So what we're really looking for when we're talking about joy, at least like my how I think about joy, is like what are the activities that you can do that you can put in 1 unit of energy and return 10 units of energy back, whether that return is in money, whether that return is in time, whether that return is in effort, whatever it is. Like, think about when you're digging with a shovel, you probably get 1 unit of energy to 1 unit of return. But when you have a backhoe, you're doing 1 unit of energy and you're getting 20, 50, 100 units of time. So, like, these are the things that I think on Substack, especially, or like when we're talking about creative ideas, it's like there's always been, oh, I need to make money. And a lot of people are like, I don't really actually care about money, but like time is also energy. So like if we're investing our resources, we should be able to recoup that energy. And if you're overwhelmed over like on a hamster wheel right now, you're probably exchanging more energy than you're getting back. So
Mm-hmm.
like we have to figure out how to get you back to time affluence. And then how can we reinvest that energy to get you time wealth so that you can then do whatever you want, like walk your dog or like go to two movies yesterday, like we did. And so it's not as simple as just like what is the joyous stuff, but it turns out usually almost 100% of the time, the most joyous actions that you can take are also the ones that give you the most energy return.
Yeah. And sometimes in the act of creating joyful things away from the screens, this is what I find. So when I'm out walking my dog, or like today I was at the spa. So I said to my husband, it was so funny. Like, so I hadn't been to the spa for a couple of weeks, and I went to the spa the other day, and I was like, I did 4 rounds in the jacuzzi. He was like, 4 rounds? I'm only just getting started when I do 4 rounds. But for me, 4 rounds was so luxurious because my brain was like so rested, and I was like having all of these ideas, like work-based ideas. That wasn't my intention getting in there, but it just happened because my body was relaxed, right? So it was so interesting. Like Dave's point of reference of like feeling utterly relaxed, and he quite often comes back from the spa with like a fully written Substack in his phone, was like that place of relaxation. So all of that, it's not the dream, but people think that it's the dream, and it's like, no, that's just what we have to do to be able to sustain what it is that we're doing. Like if I get empty, and like it's happened to me loads of times before because I just want to give so much, then I have to recharge. I have to fill that cup back up. Otherwise, I just don't have the same amount of creative ideas or the way of executing it in a really clear and concise way. So sometimes the idea is there, but I'm like, wait, how's this gonna, so the brain power is not quite there. It's not quite matching up with the embodied idea. So I'm really all about that. And I will weave some of that stuff in. But a lot of the time, I don't know whether you find this as well, Russell, like it's not as complicated as people might think. Like bringing the joyful growth, bringing the depth of joy to our creative practice isn't that complicated. So yesterday's post, I was just talking about inspirational quotes. When you feel wrung out, or when you feel like your voice doesn't matter, and then you read something that really speaks to you. So it could be something fresh and new, but it could be something that you've already written in your notebook to prepare for one of those days. Like that's what I've always done. And it just does, it brings me so much comfort, and it recenters me. Like it gets me out of my own way. But that's very simplistic. Like I think it's a very simplistic thing to write down somebody else's words that bring you comfort and just reference them back if you're feeling flat.
Like, yeah, actually, I just read Gretchen Rubin's book, which just
Oh,
aphorisms. It's just like a whole book of aphorisms that she's
hmm.
gathered over the years and she's made. Like that's great. I do want to say that what you said about what you said triggered a quote in me because James Baldwin has one of my favorite quotes of all time, which is "I have no dream job, for I do not dream of labor."
Ah,
And I think that like when we're thinking about the hamster wheel that we're running, it's always like, well, what can I do that like brings me the most money? Like I love Substack. I love whatever this thing is. But like what you're trying to buy is time because what ends up happening in when you have this container is let's say you put what you love as Substack right now. This is the thing you love and like a Substack, but like eventually you might do. I've done 3 years of Substack. I've done like 1,500 articles in the author stack. Like I've moved on the to a point that people are like confused as to what I'm writing because they're looking for beginner writing advice, and I am like talking about capitalist stuff and like
yeah,
four
yeah.
degree chess. And like, so when Substack also like drifts over here, what often happens is this time container collapses. And
Mm.
you're like, so now I have to keep this thing in there because it's being sustained by Substack or writing a book. I see this in a lot of books. People like that have been writing a book a month for 5 years, and they're like, I'm so tired. I'm like, yeah, all of these 60 books that you wrote should be enough to give you if you have not if you've written 60 books and you can't stop writing books if you don't want to write books, then that is worse than having a job because
Yeah.
like you are forced to do this thing and you get no like public retirement benefits or any of those other things. So, like what we're
Yeah.
really trying to what I think about when I think about joy is how can I create, you talk about holding space and creating
Mm,
space, like how can I buttress this space? Currently, Substack is buttressing it, but what I want to happen is it buttresses itself. So like
mm,
it has passive income. It like it I'm making more money with every action. I'm leveraging all of these actions. And like I think this is the key to sustainability. It's not how can I make my Substack sustainable? How can I make my business sustainable? It's how can I create a world in which I can put whatever I want in this, including nothing, by the way, like including just going to movies, whatever is the thing that I love, I can put in here. And maybe that's Substack this week, maybe it's this other thing. But like if we force the joy to be existed to, if we force the thing that we find joy in to like do all of this work for us, suddenly when we stop having as much joy, which will happen, when we stop having as much return on energy spend, which will happen, we're stuck doing this thing and it starts to crush us instead of support us. But if we can buttress it like a mine, at like a mine, it will never.
mm.
We can put like if we can put whatever we want to or take whatever we want to and it can sustain itself, like this is sustainability.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I also feel like last year, because last year was so steady for me on Substack. Like the year before, I had a ton of posts do well. Like my engagement was off the chart. I couldn't keep up. Last year, the challenges were busy, but Substack was like steady. And then growth completely slowed, and I had to wrap my head around all of that stuff. So there was a really interesting period of subconscious rewiring because been so used to this, like, ferocious energy. And I almost felt like I was a firefighter in it all, like I wasn't really connecting. I was just moving to the next thing. I had to just move through the notifications, like, get the people in the right place, send a refund here, do a customer service email here. Even when I was hiring people, like it was just wild. And so last year was just more easeful on my nervous system. And it meant that in this period of subconscious rewiring, I was like, oh, this is so beautiful. But it also meant that I wasn't fearful of that happening again. I guess I'd never been fearful of it because I'd never had it happen. Like I didn't understand what it was to be busy online because I'd never been busy online. And then when I was, there was a whole load of stuff I needed to wrap my head around. And now what I realized last year was I was almost self-sabotaging it happening again because my nervous system was like braced for it, right? Whereas now I'm like, oh, but if it happens, like, you know what that is and you've got the resource. And I did this a lot with some of the people in my community that went viral. I was like, what if you just closed your laptop? Like, what if you didn't have to respond to every single comment on that viral note? Like, what if you still felt safe to show up? Because a lot of them don't after they've been viral on notes. There's all these new subscribers come in and then they don't feel safe to write a post because they're like, who am I even talking to? And that's why I'm so geeky about audience development, because when we talk about audience development, we're really talking about every week, I go through and I look at the names of who are the paid subscribers on my newsletter, who are the members inside of Sparkle and Substack, who are these people? Like, what do they want from me? Why are they here? What do they want from each other? And from that place, like it feels tethered and connected rather than like this abstract thing that you've got to firefight. So there's a lot of joy in that for me, but it's been a big learning curve.
Yeah, I mean, and when you are someone who's a giver as much as you are,
Yeah.
like it's very hard to not give so much
Right.
that you don't burn out. And okay, this is an audience, so like I understand that I'm probably saying something that's going to irritate some people, but like audiences in general are parasitic because they want something from you.
Mm,
They don't care that you have an energy. If they are paying for a thing, you are. So if you don't do anything to manage that audience and like build a more symbiotic relationship, because like the difference between a parasitic and a symbiotic relationship is both of you get something out of it.
uh-huh.
Like a parasite takes without giving. A symbiotic relationship gives and takes. There's an equal exchange there. It's the
Yeah.
difference between a mosquito and a seal scraping barnacles off a or like some parasites that live in your body. Like they are symbiotic actually because some bacteria, a lot of bacteria lives in your gut biomes. Like those are like bacteria. Like those aren't great, but
Yeah,
like
and
they're
it's important stuff though, isn't it, for the balance piece, isn't it?
right,
That's it. And like you guys on the call, like maybe you'll feel some of that. Like maybe you'll feel some of that deep connection when someone comments and it's a really thoughtful comment versus like a random DM from someone that you feel is a bot. Like it's like a weird space,
right,
you can have the most beautiful of connection and then you have to close some boundaries and like make sure that you're taking care of your nervous system and yourself to feel safe enough to show up as well. Like, and a lot of the time I do get a little bit grumpy about that. I'm like, please turn your DMs to paid only. Like, why wouldn't you? Like, why wouldn't
right,
you? Because it's an option. And on other social media, it's not an option. So, you know what it's like. People will know what it's like, on Instagram, for example, like the amount of crap that you've got to wade through over there versus on Substack, you just have those DMs for paid only. And it's just an absolute dream. Again, joyful growth. And so, if you don't want to do that, I guess you've got to have a really good reason why. Because if people want to contact you, it's really easy for them to contact you. It's so easy. Like all they would do is like click into your bio, find you on LinkedIn, drop you a DM there, or Instagram, or, Google you, find your website, get your email. So, and we had all of that before. So I always talk about the before times and it annoys people. And I'm sorry, but it's just because we were given all of these extra layers. But before the extra layers and the extra tech, it was more simplistic. So you did actually have to email people or message them on Instagram if you wanted to connect with them outside of the publication. So some of that, I feel like maybe that'll help some people in terms of the overwhelm, which I hear a lot, and you probably do as well, Russell. It's like the overwhelm is a choice. Like, honestly, guys, it is like, don't look at your phone first thing, create before you consume, go for a walk, like treat yourself to a luxurious sit with a cup of tea, and then decide what you want to create online and how you want to connect with people. But boundaries are such a big part of that. Like, we just can't be open all hours to everyone. I just think we just can't.
right. Yeah, I agree with you. I do think so. Like, I'm a guy, so I don't get a lot of those terrible emails anyway. But
Yeah.
like, I think that it can also be done, um, where you set like, okay, I do need to say this about boundaries. A lot of people think boundaries are things you set for other people. And if they
Mm,
overstep, but boundaries are things you set for yourself.
yeah.
The only boundaries are the ones you set for you. So
Yeah.
I got an email a few days ago, um, while I was on vacation, and someone was asking, as someone who had gone through one of our previous challenges, email me with a list of questions. And I was like, this is so rude. Like, I gave you all of this stuff and like you are not and you like are still asking more. It's like you can pay. I know that you can pay for this thing to get Russell, but like capitalist, you get Russell bought all my
Yeah,
things.
because
And
you were really clear and I read all those emails that were amazing and you were really clear about that being time limited and then there's all of this other stuff and you gave them a free trial of Russell Bot as well, which is amazing. Yeah.
right. And so like and then I got an email this morning that's like, you know what? I joined Capitalist. You're right. Like, and I'm like, great. After I get off this call, I'm going to send an email answering all of your questions then, because like my
Oh.
boundary is like,
Hmm.
pay me. If you
Hmm.
show that like you care about my work enough that you exchange money for it,
Hmm.
then like we can have I'll be very invested in
Yeah.
your success,
Yeah,
but I
same.
can't be invested in 50,000 people's success. And I
No.
cannot be invested in your success 100% of the time. I can
Hmm.
be like, which is why I always say, if you want to be if you want to go live, which you don't have to, you should set a single hour where you are live a day, a week, a month, and you say, and when people message you questions, be like, this is a great question. I hope you show up live on this day. You can go to this website and register. I'll answer all of it then, but I don't answer questions in DMs. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And when you energetically tune yourself to being the kind of person who doesn't open DMs or only does it at a certain time, it becomes a frequency that like other people relate to.
Hmm.
And people will think that you are mean. People are going to think you are mean no matter how much you give to them. So like I wrote an article a long time ago called Strategic Helpfulness, which was about how I can be helpful at scale. And
Mm.
so like doing something like this with you, I will be live because there's a lot of like if people ask questions here doing all this stuff, I will like I have enough space that I can, but I don't answer questions about this.
Yeah.
I will be like, great, here's an article.
Yeah.
Here's how, here's a thing that I've done. And I recommend if you have a Substack that you think of it in this way. If you are having a similar issue, every time you get a question, write a post about it, schedule it in the future, and then you never have to answer that question again, ever. You can just say, hey, if you search on my Substack, I have an article for it, or you can go and find that article. But like,
Yeah.
they don't get me. I will not answer that email, that question like uniquely to you unless I am in a space where I already have it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like the container is what you create for you. When somebody oversteps it, you have to tell them no.
Mm.
If you can't tell them no, then that is you breaking your boundary, not them. Like you can't expect anyone else to know what your boundaries are until you tell them. And
Yeah.
I guarantee you that people in my community know on a massive level, just from how many times I've done it, that like Russell will answer questions live. He'll answer questions for Capitalists. He will answer comments on posts for the first hour after he makes a post. And then,
That's
I
it.
don't know,
Yeah.
he goes and writes a movie, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, that's it, isn't it? And I think this has been confusing because of the way that we've created on different platforms. So, say on Instagram, for example, which like a lot of the people that find my work also create there, they teach you that to please the algorithm, you've got to answer all of your comments like in that first space where the comments come in and all of that sort of thing. But there is that piece of deciding to do things differently. Like you'll see me in Sparkle, like sometimes the comments just won't be on. Like it's the post. The post is the post. If people want to restack it to notes and then have a conversation about it, I'll always try and keep up with notifications and stuff. But there's been quite a few times where when I was doing something like that, it felt so bold. It felt so bold to be like, okay, like that's it. That's the end of the post, and it's the end of the way of conversing about the post in this way. Like we can converse about it live on notes or whatever. So even stuff like that. And obviously we're talking about when people are managing energy, but also in order to scale, if, I always think about this, like if 1,000 people arrive tomorrow, which I've had members have that happen. I've had colleagues have more than, thousands upon thousands. If someone's recommended their work or given them a shout out or something, you need to feel like your publication and you is ready for that. So some of the work that you're doing, even when you're like, oh, two people liked it, or I looked at my open rate and it was low, like focus on the people that were there. Like there's so much joy in that. So rather than what didn't happen. So who was there? Like who did show up? So if you are just starting to create and you are just starting to build an audience, going back to my earlier point of getting to know who those people are, click on their profiles, check out their Instagram, like understand what that point of connection is. And it's so interesting now because I've done this so many times for myself and for other companies that I worked for before Substack and companies that I've worked for in this new space of working online. And there are key similarities between the people that want to subscribe. Like, say, for example, on this publication, we've had some pledges, right? And I'm always so taken aback because I've never done the pledges thing other than in a project with Russell. And I'm like, oh, who are these people that want to pledge? I think they are your people, by the way. But like, still, I'm so interested in them. I'm like, who are these generous people that are saying, I want to pledge to pay? Like, there's nothing to pay for. Like, it's all free. So, yeah, the
No, that's not
curiosity
true
about
though.
it. No, well, the
Okay.
class at
So
the end, yeah.
this is what this is why people pledge to pay.
Everyone's laughing at your
Generally,
dagger,
sorry.
by the way, Russell. We love the
Oh,
dagger. Carry on with the dagger because it's the 2nd of January and we need all the fun.
amazing. Yes. My sister got this for me after my other letter opener died.
Oh, it's a
And
le-
I
I
don't really
thought it
open
was. I
letters, but
thought it was one of the pens because I have got one of those pens from your conference somewhere, a little dagger pen. And because the
oh,
ladies on the stall next to me had dagger pens, and I was like, "Please, can I have one for my son?" It is somewhere. Anyway, carry on. We're daggering.
oh, what they are paying for, what people in my community are paying for is my ability to continue doing this work.
Right.
And
Yeah.
like, regardless of anything else, if you're like, why are people supporting you? It's because like it is so hard to find someone you connect with. I just
Right.
had this conversation over the holidays about AI, and I was like, it doesn't matter if you can create the exact book you want because you have no idea what you'll connect with. Not zero. You can know the feeling that you might want to have, but like if you can find something that like continually gives you something to do, continually up levels you or whatever that thing is, they will come a subset of people will say, "Oh, like I need this work to continue." And so I selfishly want this work to continue. So if there's $10, there's a book that comes out, I do it too. Like all of my favorite artists, musicians, I could just listen to their thing on Spotify, but whenever they have an album, I go and I buy the digital thing. So they know, please keep making this thing again.
Mhm.
And I don't have to do that. I do it because it is a signal. It is an energetic signal that the thing you're doing has real, tangible, energetic value to somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're so right. It's beautiful. I'm in this really strange place with my paid newsletter at the moment. So last year it was really important to me to have a best-selling paid newsletter. Like it's super important. So I already am a Substack bestseller. I didn't need a separate best-selling newsletter, but it was really important to me because, and we've chatted about this before, the voices of like those who can't teach, as in like I'm not a creative or a writer in my own right. I'm only like successful because I teach Substack on Substack. So that got really loud. And it was one of those like where I was like, no, like that's just not true. Like I've been a creative all of my life. And it was almost this kind of uprising of like, okay, like I'm going to show myself and all of the people that prolific output is like one of my things. Like I just love to write. I love to create. And in a paid newsletter space, I can totally do that. Like I can totally do it. So I did it. It was great. I celebrated it. It was wonderful. But then in the invitation that I'd set for myself, I did it. I did this invitation where I was like, okay, I'm going to write every single week. Part of the reason that I was going to write every single week on Creatively Conscious was to flex this writing craft muscle, to like really get comfortable with what my voice is around memoir style writing, but also what my voice is around if I'm sharing behind the scenes of my business, like how comfortable am I to tell you about the messy stuff? How comfortable am I to tell you when things go wrong, share income, like all of that stuff? Because that's what I needed when I was starting. And that's why I connected with Russell, because that's what he does. So like that was our first point of connection. And I couldn't believe how open he was about his business. I was like, oh my goodness, like this is exactly what I need, because we need role models where it feels real. And so it was important for me to do that. And then one of the people that bought my book this year, Invisible Trust, read it the same day that I emailed it out and messaged me saying, this is what I've been looking for. Like, this is exactly what I've been looking for. Nobody talks about this stuff. Nobody talks about how difficult it is and all of the other stuff that's going on behind the scenes that definitely won't get published on the internet that like is part of this book. And like, I just cried. I was like, oh my goodness, like this is the why. But the Substack got me to the book because the Substack allowed me to flex my muscles behind a paywall and feel really comfortable with an intimate group of people. I think it was like, maybe it was like 130, say, like at its height. And then like last year, it sort of steadied off to about 120. And then as the annual renewals were due in, lots of people didn't renew. And so I said to my husband yesterday, I was like, I hadn't really realized this, but I must have done like maybe like 2 or 3 points of like, this is the chance to get it for 50% off, because that was my strategy. And so yesterday must have been like the last point this time last year. So when I was looking at that, I was like, oh, like I sort of missed that because I was in my wintry wonderland with the kids. And then all, the paid was dropping off. And I was like, oh, okay, then. So it's not 101 paid anymore. And it's like, oh, okay then, rather than, oh, but I need this. Like I need it to be 101 paid because I didn't and don't need that anymore. But it is a strange thing to admit. Like it's like, oh, but I went in a whole different direction and I've circled back and gone, whoever wants to be there in the intimate space behind a paywall, like you're all my friends and colleagues. I love that. But it doesn't need to be 101 or more than 101 anymore
Right.
for the success metric because I don't need to push for that. So I'm sharing that really openly and honestly. Like this has just happened yesterday. So obviously I'm still in the processing phase. But as people have been jumping in today because it's the end of the sale, seeing their names come into my inbox, some of whom I know, some of whom I don't, I'm just like, oh, here they all are. Like these are the people that are going to allow me to write the next book that I want to write because the book comes from being able to share more vulnerably behind the paywall, which I didn't know about myself this time last year. I just didn't.
Yeah, and I love. Okay, so we both we all know SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, actionable, achievable, relevant,
Realistic.
time bound.
Oh, yeah. Time bound. Yeah.
Yeah. So, people always forget this last one, and it's the
The
most
time
powerful
bound.
one.
Yeah. Hmm.
So and because it's last, people are like, oh, okay, but like setting expiration points for
Don't miss it
things.
out, guys. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like so often I'm in consulting and I'm like, you just stop doing that, especially with a membership,
Hmm.
especially with like, you're like, oh, but like, I'm never going to be done with it. But it's like, you could be done with a project. You could say, I'm going
Yeah.
to do this I'm going to do a push for 3 months. You could say, last year I really want to get over 1,000 paid subscribers. And I did
Yeah.
that. But doing so really caught me in this wheel of like, oh my God, I'm like dropping. So now what happens if I don't get it? And eventually I was like, well, like you're devaluing your publication to the point that like it's like you offered it for $1 at one point for a year,
Mm.
and you're like, well, I don't want to do that anymore. So I guess I have to be unconnected to this idea of this little check mark.
Don't
But
don't you want to do that anymore, Russell? So you feel like because you did that, right? Like you had that pay what you feel, and I always reference it in my Sparkle calls. You don't want to do that anymore. Like, do you have now that there's over 1,000 articles there, 1,500, I think you said more than that? Do you have like a cap in like I'm not prepared to give it to anybody for less than? Obviously, we do the comps. Like the comps are a different thing, aren't they? If people are like down on income and stuff and like need to be in that space or feel like that's the space for them, but they don't have the money. But is there a monetary value where you're like, I'm not going to step below that anymore, that offer?
I'm not doing below $80 a year. And this is
Amazing.
why, because I'm just going to slide this over here so that people can see it.
What is it going to be, guys?
Like, do
Get
you see
ready.
this list?
Oh, yeah,
These are all of the books that I've written on writing and all of the workbooks. You
yeah,
can get them for free at your library. And
yeah,
uh-oh, whatever, it's fine. You can, like, the odds that you are going to find my publication and not need help on one of these topics is very low. So, like, I will
mm-hmm,
send you any ebook that you want. You can go
mm-hmm,
get it from the library. You can buy it for $10. You can get it with a bundle for $20.
mm-hmm.
Like, I'll give you a coupon on my website to like get it for cheaper. But
Okay.
like, you don't need access to all of my work. Like, you don't need
Mm-hmm,
access. I've now looked at this so many times, and like what you need is like one thing that like you need less goals. You don't need 1,500 publications. You need to you pro- if you have an income based problem, you probably need my first book, How to Build Your Creative Career, or our podcast, Six Figure Author Experiment, or one of the many, many, many articles, but like one thing,
yeah,
like and also, what has happened now after 3 years is like people don't need the $1 one anymore. The people that needed it now, they should come to me and be like, thanks, I've given it for 3 years. I now are, if you're still in a place that you haven't, like, you should not pay $1 for it because it clearly is not helping you at all. So,
mm,
like, what I'm considering doing like $20 or something for the first year or something like that. But
yeah,
like,
yeah,
once you have a collection of things that you can send people that are powerful and like you have seen them work, you should give those out for free. But you shouldn't give someone 1,500 articles access to that. They're never going to get, they don't know where to, their problem is Okay, so in the Hapitalist framework, we have 5 stages, and stage 0 is so overwhelmed that you're not doing anything. Do you know what the secret to getting to
So many
stage 1
people are
is?
there. Like, just to say, so many people are there. Like,
Right,
my biggest conversation last year was about overwhelm. And actually, one of my mentors was like saying to me, like, you're not allowed to use the word, like, are you overwhelmed? And I'm like, you don't understand. They're all overwhelmed. Like, I've got no other words for the overwhelm. Like,
right,
and so many conversations. And this, it was really interesting to me because obviously at that time, Substack were rolling out a whole load of new features. There was loads going on, all of that stuff. But like I said earlier in the call, we are the only ones that can get ourselves out of overwhelm. Like, we just are. Like, if someone wants to tell me they're overwhelmed, I have so much compassion, but like, tell me what you want to do about getting out of being overwhelmed. It's like, just one thing, like, do that one thing. And then what next? Like,
right.
what next?
That's
That's
it,
how
though.
we like crawl out of it, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
like that's it. Like to get from stage, maybe it's actually stage 1 to stage 2. The only thing you have to do is literally anything.
As
Once you
effing,
do,
yeah. Go for a
yes,
walk. Yeah.
yeah, just like anything. And
Mm,
then what you'll have is a stage 2 is you're doing a bunch of stuff, but none of them work. Well, you just got to find one of them to work to get to stage 3. And then to
mm,
get to stage 4, you have to shed all the stuff that wasn't working in the first place. And then
mhm,
once you're in stage 4, you have a successful business. And so like there is probably a methodology that you have on your site that if you have a methodology like this, that like you could just be like, this is the post. You know, I love you. I want to give you free access to all of my stuff, but darling, you don't need it. You don't need
mm,
all of them. You need
mhm,
one of them or two. Or like you need these are the 5 ebooks that like I will give you for free.
mhm,
Like and or 5 posts, like whatever that thing. Like this is a collection of the things that are the most powerful. And if
mhm,
none of those work, come back to me and I will like and I'll give you I'll like let you have access. But like what you are basically saying by giving someone unlimited access to all your stuff for $1 is go nuts, find the thing that works for you. And the only thing that they have proven in their entire life up to this thing is by being on their own to do the to figure out what's going on, they cannot do that. So they need direction. And so after 3 years, I can say either the people that are like people that unsubscribe the most are the people that pay $1, $5, under $10 for the publication.
mm, mhm,
Absolutely. People that have done it for now like 3 years, most of those people should be paying me more than $1. And like they have gotten more value than $1 worth. And it was pay what you can afford, not pay whatever you want. If you can afford more, you should be paying me.
mm,
And like it's fine. Like I don't expect them ever to. But like once I had a library of stuff that you can get at the frigging library, like go get it at the library. If it's not available at your library, request it. I don't know. I'm not like your go buy it. Go someone's probably put it on a pirate site. Go find it. Like I don't know
Thank
what
you.
like to do, but like
There is,
it's
but you're right.
available for free.
There's so much stuff, isn't there? And then in us, like I always like to say, like we're holding space for the people that want to be in these more intimate spaces, whether that's as subscribers, readers, or paid subscribers or members. Like obviously you have your habit list crew. I'm really interested in your take on simplicity. So the successful business or the successful Substack, the successful joyful growth with simplicity, like where does that meet? Because what I come back to again and again and again with the people who I talk with the most, so my colleagues, I would say, that also use Substack, is when they get to a place of simplicity and not in that place of like wrangling, that's when things start to feel really, really joyful at that level. The building up and the figuring out and the being a mad scientist is all part of the fun if you let it. But when things get big, we just want simplicity. We want it to be simple, to be easeful. And I'd love your take on that, having been here as
Sure.
long as you have.
The my words for the year are brilliantly simple. So this is very
Oh, here we go.
this is very but here's what I think that more people should do. Take the publication that you've been chaosing, take the things that are most valuable, and move and take them with you to the next thing, and then just leave the thing as the thing. You can have unlimited Substack publications. Like you don't have to hold that on with you. And you're not doing people a favor by like people are given a favor by I just started if you go to frictionlessgrowth.com, I just started a publication specifically for frictionless growth, and there's like 80 posts in there, and like we're putting a book in there, and like I'm about to release a book for all of the people that are in there. But like when we archived Writer MBA, it just stayed there. All of our stuff like just stayed there. Author ecosystem, all that stuff still there. So like if you are in a place where you're like, I have outgrown this,
Mm.
you can still keep space for that, write a book for it, and say thank you. There's a great ritual when you give a tarot deck to somebody else. You're supposed to take it out in the sun, thank it, tell it how great a job it did, reshuffle it, and then give it, say, please be nice to the next person, as nice as you were to the next person as me, and then move on. And like, I
Mm.
think it's a wonderful ritual for Substack. Ever like, I'm about to split Capitalist and the author stack, and probably do less work with the author stack. I'm actually trying to figure out like if there's a person that I can like edit it, but because like I can't do the work that the author stack needs done. Because the thing that the author stack needs done is someone to help authors get from stage zero to stage one. And the stuff that I am interested in is how to get from stage one to stage. And so I need somebody. There's a lot of stuff on there that is like 0 to 1 kind of stuff, but it's all in the archive. All the new
Yeah.
stuff is not servicing people. It's not only is it not servicing me, it's not servicing them. So I've been in publishing for a long time, 20-ish years. And the thing that I know is once you know something, you write a book about it. And once the book is out in the world, the book is out in the world. And you start focusing
Mm.
on what the next thing is.
Mhm.
And the same can be true in subscriptions. The same can be true in crowdfunding is another great one. Like you can keep your publication and just say, so this new one that's coming out in February on being happy and a successful writer at the same time, that is built from other books that I did about happy and posts. There's a book called How to Thrive as a Writer in a Capitalist Dystopia. That was all built on Substack posts. So if you're like, oh, I have 30 posts on this one topic, you can just take it out into its own thing, make it a book, and then when someone asks you, hey, how can I thrive as a writer in a capitalist dystopia? Be like, amazing. I wrote a book about it. You can go here,
Yeah.
you can go here, you can get it free here, do whatever. And the more you can like, this goes back to the time bound thing, right? Like the more
Mm.
you can set expiration dates for things, the more things you open up space for. And I just wrote a post a couple of days ago about burning 2025 to the ground. And like, let's actually do it this time. And because here's what
Mhm.
happens. We've been saying for the last 5 years, we need to, at least the last 5 years, for me, 10 years, about like burning, like, oh my God, I got to burn this year to the ground. And like, I started thinking this at the end of this year, like, why is that? And what ends up happening is whether you think it's the universe or God or just like reason, whatever it is, it's like I keep pulling the stuff forward to the next year that doesn't service me. And it didn't service me 5 years ago. But I keep being like, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. And so this year, the end of last year was like, okay, I don't know what's necessarily coming from it, but all of this stuff, conference, right, or MBA, like all of these things are just going to burn. And like
Mm.
people can find it if they want to, they can find me if they want to, but like I can't hold space for these things. These things I love. It has nothing to do with how much I love or how much effort I put forth. It has everything to do with these things served me once, they no longer serve me. And that is the only question that really, when you're thinking about making your business simple, serve could be like they make me money, they make me, but like, are they, you have to ask yourself, and this is why like 20, New Year's is such a great thing. It's like, okay, guys, what serves me today? If you do the Eisenhower matrix we have on frictionless growth and the author stack, it's like these are the things that actually I want and I need. And all of these things that I did last year don't service me. But I think that they do, but I think I need them. And you just don't, usually.
Yeah, and I feel like this is a massive invitation for everybody. And I don't want people to feel overwhelmed. There's that word again. But there is that position where you will just know, like you will just have a deep knowing of whether it feels comfortable to open your Substack and write from the place that you left off last year. Like you'll be like, okay, like this is what we were talking about. Like these are the topics. Or if you want to leave those behind and bring in a new topic or bring in a new section or organize things in a certain way. This is one of the main reasons I started 12 Chapters Club last year, which is my free book writing club. So this year I was like, what if 500 people signed up, right? And then 500 people signed up. And then I realized, but what if 100,000 people signed up? And that's why I'm doing this, because it's like, I need to understand how many, I live in a really, really quiet place. And so I need to understand, like, where are all the people that want to write their books? So I just figured, okay, so I'm just going to go all in on 12 Chapters Club. Like, I just want people to be writing their books, people to understand that they've probably already got a book on their Substack, at least one book, or they've got something that they want to turn into a book because they sat and wrote their heart out and loads of people resonated and then it felt really good, or they made it into 4 parts, whatever it is. And I'm only asking 1 chapter a month, 12 Chapters Club. So 12 chapters by the end of the year. Some people write more. Some people write a book proposal in that time. Some people work on something that is a pure passion project that's outside of like the work that they do, especially if they're in the education space. They just want to write like a fantasy novel or something. So I feel like there are these different calls that we are constantly being asked for that pull on our creative practice in different ways. And I'm so excited about New Year's. Like, I think maybe last year I was still in overwhelm. And so I was a bit like, well, I'm not really sure about this year. And I was a bit trepidatious about it. Whereas this year I'm like, sign me 100,000 people up to 12 Chapters Club. Like, I'll figure out how I handle 100,000 people on an email list if I need to, when I need to, all
Right.
that stuff. Like, it feels nice and bold to be like, my light's on, like, come and do this with us because it's going to feel really good. And that's new.
Yeah. Well, if you want to do that, you also have access to the chapter that we have in our book about how to turn your blog into a book.
Mhm.
But I remember when we were writing this book. Oh wait, do you have the link to the club? Is it
Yeah. Yeah, I can pop it
12chaptersclub.substack.com?
in. Yeah, I'll pop it.
Okay,
I can pop it in. It's on my website actually, just because. Anyway, carry on.
sure. But I was like, I told you, and I think our first call, I was like, oh, this all just came from like the blog, and you were like, what do you mean? It's like, just like you've written, how many words have you written this year? There's a book there. There's like always, like, if you've written consistently for a year, um, unless it's like about current events or something, you probably have a book because like a book
Yeah.
is 50,000 words.
Yeah.
Like or it can be 20,000 words. Like it is a it is a, well, it doesn't have to be, but like in general, it is a condensed thought that is consistent. And like if you have one that's a novella or a novelette or like whatever, you have like a series of things. Like I have written now of all of these books, one. Okay, so my second book, How to Become a Successful Author, was all blog posts. Advanced, that's book 3 was also all blog posts. Book 4 was all blog posts. Book 5 was not. Book 6 was. 7 wasn't. Book 8 wasn't. Book 9 was. Book 11 was. So like that's like half of the books that I put out were mainly compiled by a blog, by blogging. And like you don't have to, because we're leaving, and I know we're getting to the end of time. So like this year, the whole thing about January joy and the whole thing about being joyous, the thing that I think about is you can run your business the same way, but you don't have to. And I would really ask you, is it working? Because here's the thing. If it was working, it would be working. Since you continually come back to the same bugaboo about this thing, it's not working. Because if it was working, it would be working. So there must be something different. And I think that's what we're seeing with all of this optimization people. There is a certain person that loves going on social media and going viral, and they're very good at it. And like, if
Yeah.
that is you, go do that. But if that's not you, like, you aren't getting good return on energy investment from it. So you should just do the same thing. Like, the mantra that I would love everyone to say is, I don't work for billionaires.
Mm.
Like, you don't work for Zuck or Musk or who, even Hamish or whoever runs
Are they
Facebook.
millionaires? Are they billionaires yet? The Substack lads. I feel like they're not quite there
Well,
yet. Maybe
yeah,
this
but
year.
but like A16Z is, and who
Right.
funds them. And so like
Yeah.
they're who owns Substack, like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
majorly. But
Yeah.
like all of these sites are ByteDance, like you don't work for them.
Yeah.
You if you are getting if you are investing your time and making more money, then you are an investor in TikTok. You are just not investing money or investing energy or time or whatever. But if you are doing the TikTok thing and you are not getting anything back from it, you are just working for ByteDance. And I don't want you working for ByteDance. I want you working for your business because, and this is going to be shocking, I know, but businesses are supposed to work for you,
Mm.
not the other way around. I know because I just talked to a lot of people who had jobs back when I was home, and they were all like, I don't understand. How do you make 200 grand? And I'm like, I don't understand how you don't make 200 grand. Like, 200 grand is 600 people giving you $300. You're telling me that in the world you can't find 600 people who are going to give you $300? Like I just went out with my friends and we spent $300 like on food there. So like I
Yeah.
know there's like so it's like
It's
it's
being open to it as well, isn't it? Because you talk about it like from a place of ease, but that wasn't you like 30 years ago. You just had that
right.
vision, right? And I always talk about this like where the intention meets the vision, but the vision also has to be heavily influenced by what you think is possible. And sometimes what you think is possible is influenced by what you think is not possible. So that's what we've got to do some work on to feel joyful about it. That's what we've got to plug into. And with Joyful January and this whole club, like, I know that the work that I want to do on trying to get you guys just all excited about meeting each other will happen. Like, I'll do that work. Like, that's what I'm excited about. But also, I know that there will be a handful of people that take it 10 steps further, that are like networking in the DMs, chatting about going live, chatting about collabs, doing that stuff because that means something to them. And then there'll be the people that we never hear from that read all the posts, absorb all the things, maybe learn with us further. Like, you are so welcome, like, to absorb this publication and mine and Russell's teaching in a way that serves you and suits you, but just keep bringing it back to what's joyful. Like, we're not telling you to do anything. We are inviting you to think about your own creative practice and your own joy because that's what works for us and that's what we're really passionate about. So, yeah, I just feel like I want all of it to feel like a permission slip, not like a do all of these things thing. We will tell you to do a few things because there's some really light lifts and some things that can feel really good and some things that just really work on Substack that people just don't know about. So we'll do that. But the biggest permission slip is you getting to know your own unique creative practice and taking things 10 steps further than what we kind of set out to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Can we end with a thought experiment, Claire?
Go for
Will
it.
you help
Yeah.
me on it? Okay. When did Will Smith become successful?
Men in Black.
Before that.
Uh-huh.
Well,
Was it his
it's okay.
album? Big
We
Willie
could say Men in
Style?
Black.
Was it his album?
Okay, there we go. So, no, he became successful when he signed his first record contract.
Mm-hmm.
He became successful when he finished that album, not knowing what the result would be, because most
Right.
albums are not successful.
Uh-huh.
He broke out with Men in Black, but like he didn't become successful with Men in Black because Men in Black only existed because he signed a contract that like made him make that movie and all of the little things that happened in that movie. So I say that to remind people that like we are all delusional. We must be delusional. You have been delusional since you were in kindergarten. And I can tell you this because the what is the first thing a kid says when they're done with kindergarten? Now I'm a first grader, right?
Hmm.
They have never done one day of first grade. And yet, the entire summer before being first grade, they're telling themselves, I'm a first grader. I'm a first grader. I act
Oh,
like a first grader
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, we cannot be successful unless we are deluding
Oh,
ourselves
Fresh
that
Prince.
success
Yes,
can
Fresh
happen.
Prince, Lizzie. Sorry. Will Smith, Fresh
Yeah,
Prince. Let's get the Will Smith timeline in one of our posts. I'm going to do it. Sorry,
absolutely. I
Russell.
love same thing with like Taylor Swift or anyone. If
Yeah.
you're like, wow, this was Taylor Swift's breakthrough album. Remember, she had to make it first. Someone
Hmm.
had to believe in her first. She had to get an agent first. She had to tell a bunch of people, I'm the next big thing first when she was 15 years old. And then that gave her the space and the opportunity to make the things and go on all of the experiences. But she was successful when she signed that first album because that first album was successful. And how do you unentwine those things? And so we we think that like all of these things have to be right before we find success. But most of what we have to do is make the damn thing and believe that it's going to be the kind of thing that will be successful and do it with the kind of practice and intention that brings success to it. And success might be your Nona reads it and like loves it. It might be a billion people read it. But if your book's to be read by a billion people, it needs to be designed for a billion people to read it. If Nona needs to read it, then like design it for Nona. And
Hmm.
there's an in between, but we are all delusional, and we must be delusional as entrepreneurs because we have to do the thing before we get success for the thing, which is why success is always 100% of the time a trailing indicator. It is not we think it is a leading indicator of what is coming, but it is a trailing indicator of what we have done.
I love that so much. And it made me think a lot about what success means. There's a great book called The Success Myth by Emma Gannon. Like you should all read it. It's really beautiful, beautifully written. And it's very easy to digest as well, just in terms of the interviews that she does with people that on the outward face inside are successful. I feel like because I read that book as things were feeling successful on the outside, and I just still didn't feel successful on the inside, the permission slip that that book and continuing to show up gave me was this space of what if it's just about it's never a just, but it felt like it's the connection with the right people. Like people get it, and the people that get it are the people that I want to be around my work. And that just felt like, oh, well, that is literally it. Like if people get what it is that you're trying to do and trying to say, and you look at them and you're like, you're my people, like just is the nicest thing in the world. I just love it. And I love that online allows us to do that globally and with such ease, like going live with Russell in LA on the 2nd of January. It's just so cool. I just love that. So thank you all so, so much for being here. Like we said, this is our only planned live together. Like we might be able to weave one or two more in. We'll see what happens, but we are going live with other people because of the time zones. We're trying to cover a few different time zones. So there will be some other lives as part of the program, daily posts, 2 challenges, and then we culminated it all with a masterclass that will have hot seats. So if you want us to hold space for you and you want to bring everything that you're working on when it comes to joyful growth on Substack and where you've got to, we'll both be there for you for that. And that's like the last week. So everything is over on the publication if you want to read more, and we'll make sure that we remind you about it all too. Thanks so much, Russell. It's been awesome as ever.
If you are not reading this live, then you can go to joyfulgrowthclub.substack.com. That's
That's
the
us,
link, I
isn't it?
believe.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, joyfulgrowthclub.substack. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. I'm still wrapping my head around that. Yeah, and because this might be on YouTube as well when it will, so we'll sort that out. But yeah, Happy New Year to you all. May it be a year filled with joyful growth, whatever that means to you. Come and learn what it means to us and all of the other people that we go live with as well. Thanks so much, everyone. See you again really, really soon. Take care.